All right, this video is going to be about straightening these flat girders. And as you go through sets, you find that some of these have been severely mistreated. This one is in terrible shape. And I've got a few. That one's a little better. This one also has got some major damage to it. So a couple different ways that you can straighten them. If you have one that's just bent like this, where this one just has a curve in it, there aren't really any kinks in it, you can just carefully kind of twist and massage it back into place. And what you're looking for is when you lay it on a flat surface, it lays flat. So this is still twisting up on this end, so I'm going to just put a little twist in it like this. That seems better. And these move pretty easy, so don't get too crazy with how much pressure you put on them. That's not bad. So just by hand, you can straighten out when they are bent like that. When they have these really severe bends in them, you're going to need to use a tool to do that, or a couple of different tools. So this is the September 25 issue of the A.C. Gilbert Heritage Society newsletter. And you do have to be a member of the Gilbert Society to get this newsletter. Or if you join as a member of the society, you can also download the newsletters from their website. And I'll have a link to the website in the description for this video. But on page 28 is Dave's Workshop Wizardry. This article section is named after David David Blood. And this article is about building a jig to straighten the girders. And this was written by a man named Jack Preston. And it goes through and gives you the directions on how to make a jig for straightening these parts. And so I went ahead and made one in my shop. And the jig is made up, the bottom part of the jig is made up of 4 parts. So I have a piece of 2x material. In the article, he says you can use a 2x6. This one's like actually 4 inches wide. It was just a cut off piece that I had as a scrap. And it is, I believe it was 12.5 inches long. And then a square piece of wood in the center. And that is 15 32 square. And I made that out of hard maple. And then I fastened 2 of the 12-inch angle girders on each side of that wood strip. I went ahead and drilled some holes through. After I fastened the piece of maple first, going down the center, and then I drilled some holes through, and I wanted to be able to keep this center section nice and tight. And then I put the bolts through those holes, and I just made them finger tight. Then I went ahead, and once I saw that it was straight and the angle girders were laying flat, then I went ahead and I put in the screws to hold the angle girders. So this is very solid now. The angle girders that I used, I looked through the different parts that I had, and I had some that were a thicker material. And so I used the thickest ones that I had, and I also made sure that those were nice and straight. So I was fortunate. I had 2 thick ones, nice and straight. And then the other part of the jig is this top piece. And this has 2 grooves cut in it. And I did those with a table saw. They're only a 1/16 of an inch deep. And those are made so that the 10-inch girder lays flat down in here. And the idea behind this is you take your girder that is damaged, and I'm going to start with this one. It's got the damage right here. The rest of it actually looks pretty decent. And you lay that in place, and the channel here on each side of the girder, that fits down over the angle girders. And then this piece goes on from the top. And this, you can kind of line it up on one end. And then the idea here is that you wrap on this with a mallet. I'm using a rubber one. In the article, he says rubber or wood. It's noisy. So I definitely got a lot of the damage out of there, a lot of that bent part, but there's still some in there. So what I've been doing is I've been straightening these is I take that damaged area and I line it up with one of my screws, and that tells me where exactly I need to hit. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this down on here, and I know that I need to tap it right over my screw here. And that took most of the rest of that out of there. So that girder could use a little bit more work. Now I have been playing around a little bit with this, and I've been just tapping it with the hammer. Now again, this is not super thick metal. So what I found, if you're just going to tap it with the hammer, you want to be a little more gentle. Now it's almost completely out of there. I need a little bit of just a little massaging now by hand. All right, that one is pretty straight. That's definitely a very usable girder now. Let me take this one. This one is way more severe. So what I found on these is you need to do a little bit of work by hand and just get them, if you can twist, especially where it's a twist bend, if you can get that out of there. So right now this is dipped down here bad. It's bent over here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and you can hopefully see that it is not sitting very nicely on there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this piece on. Make sure it's in place. All right, and that actually improved it quite a bit. There's still that dip, and that's going to be a little bit tougher to get that out of there. This side over here has straightened out pretty nice. It's got a little bit of wavy in it yet. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now, the other thing that I've played around with a little bit is with this piece, if you lay the girder upside down in there, and then you take a screwdriver Now you can see as I did that with the screwdriver, I straightened this out quite a bit over here. It's pretty close right now. And it also put a little bit of a bow in it, so I can come back and just kind of work that by hand. And there's still a bit of a dip in right here, so that's going to need a little bit more work. I think I need to go to a bigger size screwdriver. And as I've kind of been playing around with straightening some of these, I think what I'm going to do is take an old screwdriver, a large one, and I'm actually going to grind the tip of the screwdriver so that it has the profile of the inside of this shape in the girder. And that way I'll be able to get down in there. So if you decide to make one of these, if you're a member of the site for the Heritage Society, you can go ahead and either look at the book that was sent to you, or you can download the plan from there. If you want to make one, it's like $35 to join the Heritage Society, and you can go get that plan. And what I would recommend, follow the directions, build one of these, use as thick a girders as you can find here for your angles. And then I did not think about this, but this piece I've already noticed is going to take some major wear. So I would recommend, as long as you're building it, and you have if you're doing it on your table saw, have your table saw set up. And I would recommend making a few of these so that as you wear one out, you've got some extra ones. I've straightened maybe 24 of them so far, and there's some significant wear on this piece. So yeah, if you have any questions about this and you have any difficulty with the article, Jack does a great job with his description in the article. Again, Jack Preston, and great pictures here, very clear, concise directions. So you shouldn't have any problem making one. If you have access to a table saw, it'll make it a lot easier. But you could definitely use a carving knife or a sharp chisel to get these grooves in, and it could definitely be made by hand. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully seeing this and the way it works, and the fact that you can tap on it with just the hammer gently and do some straightening that way as well will help you out with straightening out some girders and getting your set ready to use.